In this video, I'm going to talk about cells, some theories on how they came about, and also evidence supporting creation. Okay, so I'm cleaning off my board, wiping it off. Alright, so in this part, I will show two different theories that are very common that scientists have today. The first one is the idea that several chemicals spontaneously assembled into bubble-like structures at an unknown location. And these structures formed molecules, and the molecules replicated themselves. And as they continued to replicate, they formed cells. So this belief that they have would be suggesting that all life on Earth was completely by accident. Okay, so this next theory is that the first cells arrived on Earth from outer space. And that really doesn't have any evidence. That was created because scientists could not prove that life can spring from non-living molecules, so they assumed that it came from space. And that little orange guy in the green spaceship would be the cell. So what does evidence reveal about this? Well, it's clear that life always comes from pre-existing life. That's clear with every living thing on Earth. So what scientists are questioning is, could that law be broken? Could that fundamental law have ever been broken? They're suggesting that if we go far back enough in time, that maybe we'll find a break in it, or we'll find a way that life could really spring from non-living chemicals. Now we'll go more into what the building blocks of living things are. That is cells, and we'll talk about what they're made of. Okay, so in order to have one cell, you need three things. You need proteins, RNA, and DNA. And cells need all three of these components in order to survive. They can't live without any one of them. So here we have Stanley L. Miller, who was a very famous scientist. And it was in 1953 that Miller was able to create amino acids, which are a lot of what make up proteins. And proteins are part of cells. And it was because of what he did that many people started to believe that all compounds of a cell, all parts of the cell, could be created using non-living materials such as chemicals, as Miller had done. So here I'll show another proof that cells could not have occurred by accident, and that is because proteins need ribonucleic acid, or RNA, in order to survive, to be created. But on the other hand, RNA needs proteins in order to be created. So how could that have happened? How could that have occurred that they both were created before the other one, or they both occurred at the exact same millisecond? Okay, so here now we have Hubert P. Yockey, and he was a researcher. And I'm quoting him here when he said this. He said, "It is impossible that the origin of life was proteins first. The probability of this happening is astronomically low." And then I have another quote that I'm putting up that was from a doctor at the National Space Administration's Astrobiology Institute. And she said, "None of them have provided us with a very satisfying story about how this happened." And she was referring to scientists on how cells have come about. And interestingly enough, she's not a creationist. She believes that life arose by chance in some fashion not yet fully understood. So basically, scientists are trying to prove that this could have occurred by accident, that a cell could have occurred out of non-living matter, and so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create one out of non-living matter. But the question is even if they do eventually do that, what would they actually prove? So here it is illustrated. Say there was a scientist who wanted to build a robot. He made the robot, completely out of naturally occurring elements, but transformed them into steel, plastic, silicone, and wire. And he constructed this robot so that it would be able to make replicas of itself. Even if he was able to do this, what would he prove? He would prove that an intelligent being can create an impressive machine. He wouldn't be proving that it could have occurred naturally, because obviously he put a lot of work into this and it took a lot of design in order to accomplish it. So this is illustrating that even if scientists did eventually make a cell, even out of naturally occurring elements, it doesn't prove that that could have happened by accident. It actually proves quite the opposite, just as the scientist with the robot would have proved. So after watching this, what do you think? What does all of this prove? I personally believe that there's actually a lot more evidence in creation than there is in evolution. And somebody who does believe in evolution would need a lot more faith. It would require a lot more faith to believe in that.